Hello, hello.
How are you?
I'm beautiful, as you can see.
Well, I know it's fight week, but more than that, it's Bad Man Chris Wade fight week, which is always fun for us. Is it extra for you? Is it fun for you, or is it stressful for you, or what's it like?
It's fun for me because this is not where I shine, but this is where you can tell the difference between the two of us. It is very one-sided when it comes to me speaking on the mic. And to me, it's been very one-sided when it's come to a head-to-head thing. So I'm excited to continue the wave that I had this year, get that bad taste out of my mouth that I had in San Antonio, and get back to my winning ways. You know, this was the year to win it. I was the number one seed, and the only hiccups that I had were in San Antonio. So I asked my agent to get me back in the cage, and we're here on championship week.
I'm curious to know, obviously, you guys have had this long-standing rivalry. You had a pretty amazing conference call building up this. What's it like after that? Do you just like hang up the phone and like just go about your day? Or are you like pissed off the rest of the day and angry? Like, what's it like for you?
I didn't get pissed off at all during that interview. I actually felt, you know how he said I was a bully? I actually felt like he was right. I felt like I definitely bullied the shit out of him in that interview. I hit him with a little Ric Flair after I hung up. I was juiced up, and after I hung up, I was just like, whoa, whoa, that was really good, So I felt like he set himself up for a couple of different knocks out of the park. I made him laugh, which I thought was funny. He was laughing at himself, which I thought was not only funny but a testament to my jokes. So I was happy. I was happy with the performance.
Nice. Last thing for me, obviously we've all been looking forward to this fight, but man, with all the news that's happened, everything, I mean,
yeah.
Does that change anything? I mean, I know there's like bragging rights here and some pride on the line, but given all the options that seem to be on the table now, has this fight taken on a new meaning for you?
I know I'm very focused on Karen at this moment. There's no part of me that is looking forward to the Bellator information and things like that, because I have looked back at that. I don't feel like Bellator used me in the right way, and therefore I asked for my release. And I believe the career that I've had after Bellator was saying that, hey, I'm doing better without you. And now it's a full circle. They have to come back, and the guys that were running away or asking management for help for not fighting me, they got to come see me now. And I think with me being a PFL guy, and I say I'm pretty favored with the higher ups at PFL, I think I can get my way with some of the guys that were ducking and diving. So I'm excited for what PFL has done, and I'm excited for what PFL is gonna do.
I want to bounce off of that question. Is this kind of a legacy fight for you, or what does this fight mean for your legacy, knowing that all of this is going into making the fight?
I ain't thought about it that deep into a legacy type of thing. I think over a grand, I got a message today that this was on my 10th year. I had my first fight for Bellator was November 22nd, 2012. Or 2023, 2013. Either way.
We'll check that for you.
Yes.
Look at that.
Yeah, check the stats, check the resume. Either way, it has been a wonderful 10 years or more, and I'm still going strong. I haven't looked at a legacy, because you start calculating legacy, you start feeling as though you're one foot out the door and starting to look at the grand scheme of things. And brother, I can tell you right now, I'm still hungry for championships, so we ain't even looking at a legacy thing.
So what comes after Chris Wade? Do you have anyone in mind or any fights in particular?
I'm looking at Karen right now. Everything. I'm looking at Karen. I'm looking at his daddy, Thomas. I'm looking at anybody that has a Wade last name that can get it. Anybody can get it. Everybody can get it. But the new hunt in with the roster of Bellator excites me for sure. So I'm expecting to see some interesting stuff next year.
Last question for me. Do you expect another fight with Chris Wade?
I don't expect Chris Wade to even be in this organization.
Hey, Bubba, take us back to the beginning here. I mean, what was your first impression of Chris, and was there a specific moment where it all just went south?
Wallace is the only Chris that I recognize. Karen is who you're talking about. I didn't think Karen was a good fighter then. I was going through a lot in my life, and I didn't make him a serious opponent. So he became a serious challenge. In that time, I showed up to make weight for that camp. As anyone could tell you, I was getting some money. I had just beaten the two-time champion. I was feeling good about myself. I was, out there a little bit at the top of Vegas, living a good life, doing bad man things. And it definitely caught up to me. So being that I focused on him this year, it was one-sided as I always thought it would be and should be. And we're back to that same focus.
And last for me, I'm curious, outside of the cage in 2024, what are some things that you want to accomplish in the next calendar year?
Well, I have a grand opening of my new 30,000 square foot gym, new BK MMA headquarters that I'm excited about. I'm planning on grand opening sometime around late January, Super Bowl, early weekend, early February, something like that. So, yeah, my focus is building for not only my children, but leaving an inheritance for them.
Bubba, you have a unique situation this week where you could potentially step in on short notice and fight for the title. Which fight do you really want?
Man, it's hard. Beat Karen or win $1 million. Get the revenge from Pinedo. If Braga doesn't make it, I think Braga's gonna make it. But man, I want to fight for the championship. This other one is more personal and more just about how, I guess it's a machismo macho thing. It's all bravado. It's to put a stamp on our little trilogy. But I could care less about Karen if they're going to be giving me somebody for $1 million. I'm excited about that. Like I said, I'm leaving an inheritance for my children, and that's the closest way to get it done. But either way, I'm excited. I'm built to go, and hopefully somebody miss weight.
Well, best case scenario, they both miss weight, and then the two of you fight for them.
Yeah, that. Listen, I already thought it was Christmas for Thanksgiving with them giving me Karen, but I would cancel Christmas if that happened. I'd be on a island somewhere for sure if that was the case.
Thank you.
Well, what can you tell us as one of the PFL veterans? What has it been like for you from the time you debuted with the PFL to now to see the PFL's growth? Because obviously we got the big news this week with Bellator, as mentioned earlier. What has that been like for you as a fighter to kind of see that?
I like that word, PFL vet. I feel like, when I first got to the PFL, it was a beautiful, beautiful organization. I ain't gonna say that I put the wheels on this bus that's moving, but I definitely helped put some tin on it. And the numbers since I've gotten here and the type of attitude and interviews and entertainment that I've brought with me to this organization, and them eating it up and allowing me to be the bad man. My walkout song, I don't think anybody, y'all can challenge it, I don't think anybody got a walkout like mine. I don't think anybody knows who's coming out before they see them like you do with mine. As soon as y'all hear that, da-na-na-na-na, y'all know what time it is. So I'm just grateful for them allowing me to be me, and I'm excited to see what they have in store when the new guys come on, and how much bigger and how much of a rivalry will be with some of the other organizations.
One last thing for me, obviously with the Bellator fighters coming over and having you been through the season format a few times now, what would you say to those Bellator fighters that are thinking about getting into the season format in terms of the best way to handle the quick turnarounds and the massive activity year after year? What would you say to those that are considering?
You got to be built for it tough. You got to be resilient. You got to be, the race is not given to the swift. It's given to the one that endures. And there isn't another tournament like it. Even the old Bellator tournament, which I signed with them for, isn't the PFL format. This gives you the best champion in 1 year. Every year, the style, the way that all professional sports are laid out, this is the closest way to every year picking a champion, every year seeing who can be available. Best ability is availability. And, a lot of these guys get hurt. A lot of these guys pull out. A lot of these guys call out. A lot of these guys ask management for a way out. And with the PFL being the way that it is, it's win or go home, and there ain't no politics in it. You can't just have a good mouthpiece and get yourself in the championship, because I would have talked my way to a championship multiple times.
Bubba, you're one of the biggest names in the PFL. You're a star in the cage and out of the cage now. It's your 10th fight in the organization. What has been your favorite moment here with PFL?
Beating the hell out of Karen in Vegas was one of my favorite moments. Getting to fight Karen for Thanksgiving as Christmas present is another good moment for me. Fighting and leading up to the championship was a really awesome moment. To be a part of the biggest night in MMA for them last year was paramount for me. Didn't get the job done, and that's why I came back hungry with a vengeance this year. Didn't get that done as well, but you know, we are here to just continue to climb, and every year we get better. I said something in the interviews the last time. I was saying, oh man, I've seen it all, and you know, I've learned a lot, and you know, Pineda showed me something that I hadn't seen, and that was a storming and a scrap that, you know, I was not prepared for. And being that he did that, I'm assuming that there will be other fights like that. I'm assuming that they'll take that recipe and try to match it, and therefore, you know, I have focused on those type of things and gotten better for it. So I'm excited about not only this performance but future performances.
Awesome. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Bubba, you know, obviously a lot of experience against Chris Wade. I'm just curious where you'd rank him amongst your toughest opponents.
Dead ass last.
All right.
What are we talking about? Dead ass last. He has not been a tough opponent at all. The first fight, I beat myself. The second fight, I gyrated on his neck. It was very easy. He didn't even know what was going on. Someone had to tell him that it happened. So he's not up there with toughest opponent. I would say Pinedo and Lockname. Lockname because of the durability and the smoothness and how I was biting down on that leg just to catch him. I'd take a kick just to give me that. God, give it to me. And he was good enough to just, you know, mosey out of the way and hit me with another kick and kick and kick and kick. So that was tough to deal with as I'm trying to climb and get towards him. And I'm slowly hitting him and I'm, you know, slowly getting closer. But as I got there, I just kept getting pulled away by the pain in my leg. So yeah, this year, this fight is a testament to my resilience and me rebuilding myself and getting knocked down. As you can see, I got new scars on my face that I'm actually pretty happy with. I ain't gonna lie. This new scar right here actually makes me look kind of Batman-like. So I'm appreciative of everything that I've been through to get to this moment, and you know, I'm excited for not only you guys to be a part of what PFL is doing and getting in the doors, but to see where we go after this.
Best luck, man.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, sir.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, sir.
How's it going?
How's it going, guys? Good to see you.
It's been a very busy year for you and a very successful year for you. So what's the feeling like coming in? I mean, fourth fight of the year, looking to keep the streak going?
It feels great. Super excited. Just ready to make weight, eat pancakes, and then fight.
Yeah.
Yep.
On paper, this might be your toughest matchup so far. If you just look at it, I mean, what do you think about your opponent? And is this your toughest fight to date, do you believe?
It could be. You know, I actually don't know too much about him. I haven't seen his last two fights. I know he's got 2 subs. And the only fight that I was able to watch was his first fight, which was in 2019. So, you know, 3-0. His first fight was in 2019. He had 3 fights in 4 years. This is my 4th fight this year. So I'm definitely more active. This is his first time on the big show. So welcome to my world. And yeah, I'm excited. You know, I wrestle and grapple with the best dudes in the world. So I'm not even worried about that. I'm not worried about anything. I'm just ready to fight.
You kind of touched on it, the big show, right? Welcome to my
Yep.
world. I'm just curious, does this even do anything for you anymore? I mean, multiple trips to Madison Square Garden, the finals again. It's just like, whatever.
Yeah.
It's like
It's getting more normal, you know, and I say it all the time, you know, it's about getting the experience. I'm getting all the experience right now and to be able to get this kind of experience as an amateur is freaking priceless. Words can't even convey how grateful I am to be in the position that I'm in right now and have the opportunities that I have. It's only going to help me in my pro career. So yeah, you know, my my first fight with the PFL was last championship card, and the fight before that I fought in a warehouse on a barn. So to go from that to Madison Square Garden, it's a huge jump. So, and he's making that jump this fight. So, and I'm used to it already. So yeah, it's just getting normal, more and more normal.
Nice. Last thing for me, I know you've always said, look, I'm not rushing my pro debut. We'll wait. I'm just curious, the acquisition of Bellator, does that change anything, right? Because now you might not have to see, like, well, if I go pro, I got to go into a season. You know, maybe it seems like now there's more options. Do you think that impacted maybe your decision at all?
Not really. You know, initially when I go pro, I expect to build some credibility first. You know, I don't want to just jump into the tournament. I think that'd be stupid. You know, I'm going against guys who are veterans pretty much. So yeah, you know, I'm just turning pro, and I'd like to build my credibility first before doing anything major like the tournament. So yeah, I think PFL merging with Bellator is huge. It gives a lot of great opportunities to a lot of fighters, and yeah, sky's the limit for this company.
Biaggio, you are a almost the most recognizable name on a relatively new program of amateur fights at a time when the PFL is in kind of like the biggest transformational phase of its existence. What does that mean for you to be the face of this up-and-coming program with everything that's up ahead with Bellator?
It means the world. You know, this is all God's work. That's how I look at it. You know, the stars are aligning. Things are falling into place right at the right time. You know, Bellator and PFL are merging now. You know, like he said, it gives more fighters more options and opportunities. And to just be where I'm at right now, you know, I believe everything happens for a reason. I believe that everything is predestined as well. Everything was already written out. So I'm here because I'm supposed to be here. So yeah, I'm just super excited for the future.
Where do you see your career going after this? What's the next step for you?
Who knows? Maybe I knock the guy out, go pro, and build some pro record. I don't know, you know. But yeah, I'm just excited. I think after this fight, you know, after every fight, I sit down with my coach and I talk to my coach and see what he thinks is best. So I'm gonna do the same thing this fight.
Any names on the Bellator roster that come to mind for potential opponents?
Not really. You know, I'm kind of like a robot. You know, someone gives me a name and then I'm like, okay, and then I just go fight them.
Thank you.
Hey, Biaggio. So you once said that John Wick 4 was the best action movie you've ever seen. I'm curious, what specifically elevates it above others?
It's the judo throws. You know, if you watch John Wick, he's using a lot of throws. He's using like real techniques and stuff. So I think that's what makes John Wick so cool is he's using throws, sweeps, and all types of cool stuff that are real martial arts. So I think it's dope to see an action movie use real technique.
Yeah, Keanu does the homework. I know that you once said some blessings you don't receive until all the wrong people are out of the picture. What specific actions have you taken to maybe live that quote out?
I completely sacrificed my social life. I don't have a social life really anymore. You know, I'm a gamer now. When I'm not training, I'm at home playing Call of Duty or the OG Fortnite. They brought OG Fortnite back. I don't know if you guys know that, but they brought that back. So if I'm not training, I'm playing that with my brother. So I think it just goes to sacrifice. You know, you have to, in order to achieve success, you got to sacrifice something. So that my social life is pretty much gone, but I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I love where I'm at. I love what I'm doing, and I'm just super blessed to be doing what I love to do. Finally.
Yeah, it seems like explicitly you've pretty much said that after this one you're turning professional. What was the decision behind? Like what led to the decision to turn pro?
I don't know. You know, well, 7's my favorite number. This will be my 7th fight, so maybe that's a little superstitious, but I don't know. You know, just talking with my coaches and seeing me level up in the gym, and obviously winning. I think that helps. So yeah, I think it's just a matter of time. And I'm 25 too, so now I think it's time for me to start getting like a pro resume and get my pro experience.
Did the last one, obviously you were a little frustrated on the night after everything played out. Did that kind of almost, in a way though, boost your kind of ambitions to do it? Because I know you talked about wanting to have some fights that didn't necessarily
Mhm.
go your way after some quick fire knockouts.
Yeah, I don't really like controversy when it comes to fights. I like it to be black and white. Either, it's a clear win or a clear loss. Yeah, when I hit him with the right hand, he went down. I thought he was out, and I'm sure the ref thought the same thing, and that's why he stopped the fight. But when I went to ground and pound, I saw that he was still kind of alive. So, yeah, I don't know. In the moment, it was very weird, but I think maybe looking back at it, it was safe because we're still amateurs and stuff. So the ref's job is to protect our brains.
Do you have any word as well on Nico and how he's doing and what his plans are for going forward? 'Cause obviously it's been a tough couple of months for him.
Yeah, he's doing great. His last fight, I think he had a lot of drama going on in his camp. So there was a lot of stuff outside of the ring that was really messing with him. So, and you could kind of see it in the fight as well. So, but he's got a great camp now. He's with the right people, and yeah, I think this next fight is going to be his best one.
Biaggio, what can you tell us? We've talked a lot before about some of the guys that you train with, like Julian Rosa and others at Extreme Couture. In terms of handling the pressure and being a professional and all that, what are some of the biggest things that you feel like you've learned from your teammates?
Oh, I learned so much. Julian's one of those guys that told me, that the experience that I'm getting is like 10 years worth of experience. Julian was telling me how he used to fight in like bars and stuff, and it took him a long time to get on this kind of stage where he's at. So, early in my career, I'm at that stage. So to just be able to get this kind of experience, it's insane. I'm super grateful. It's, sky's the limit.
Biaggio, how do you balance legacy with carving out your own unique niche in combat sports?
I like to fight. It's weird. I never decided to fight because of my grandfather. I fought because I was just depressed and lost, and I didn't know what to do with my life. Living in Las Vegas, you got clubs, you got all types of stuff and bad decisions. So when I was done with football, I went out. I made a lot of stupid decisions. I was, being an idiot. So I needed some kind of direction in life. And a lot of people go through that. They don't know what to do when they're done doing something. And it's kind of like a what now situation. I was doing the same thing. I thought, oh, no football, I could do whatever I want. So I went out and made stupid decisions and was lost. So MMA, that brought me to MMA. It wasn't my grandfather or legacy or anything, but being related to who I'm related to, it's, if I'm 30-0 double champion or something like that, they're still going to talk about my grandfather. So, because that's just who I'm related to. So, I don't care. I just like to fight. And I think me just wanting to fight is going to be able to have me create my own legacy.
Thank you. That's good.
All right.
Cool.
Thank you.
Cool.
Thanks, Biaggio.
One more?
Can I get one?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Biaggio, I know you train at Extreme Couture with a bunch of killers. Has there been any change in aura since Sean Strickland became champion and pulled off one of the biggest upsets of the year?
Not really. Sean hasn't changed at all. He hasn't changed at all, but he's such a good guy. He's such a good teammate. He pushes everybody. He helps me out a lot. He has great words of advice. Quick story. There was one day where I had just a bad sparring day and I got my ass whooped. And Sean came up to me. He's like, "You got your lunch money taken. You got your ass whooped." I'm like, "Thank you, Sean." Like, just pour it on me. And yeah, he was like, "Yeah, if you show me any kind of weakness, I'd be jerking off." I'm like, "Thank you. I'm glad I turned you on." But after he was like, "No, you're great." He's like, "You're working with the best guys," and yada yada. So the following week, I did the same round with the same dude, and Sean was cornering me because we were sparring in the cage, and I beat the dude up, and Sean came up to me. He's like, "You made your father proud." So I was like, "Thank you, Dad." So yeah, funny Sean Strickland story.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're good. That's right. Yep. Good. All right. It's been a little while. I know you're not exactly happy about the time away, but you're back now. So I guess what's the emotion like as it's time for you to fight again?
No, it's good. I just want to fight again, and yeah, I'm just happy to fight and be here.
I know you expressed some frustration kind of in the lead up to this. Have you had a chance to talk with people behind the scenes and kind of find out what happened and what the layoff was?
No, not really. I just leave that to my managers right now. It's not my doing to be out this long. So I don't know. We'll see.
So as you enter now, I mean, it's just a couple of days out. Is there a chip on the shoulder? Is there frustration, or is this more just like now back focused on the task at hand?
Yeah, no frustration. I just focus on this fight, get in there and get this win, and move on.
That's all right. The matchup with Derek, what do you think about him as an opponent? Kind of what he offers to you?
He's a veteran. It's nothing I haven't seen before. I fought in big world title fights before against top guys. This is nothing new to me. So, yeah.
Last thing for me, like I said, I know there was a little frustration, but it seems like there's a lot of options on the table for everybody now with this Bellator acquisition. What do you think? I mean, for next year, are you hoping to get back in the season? Are you looking for other options? Like, what's the plan for you?
I don't know right now. It's not set in stone, but there's a lot of fights at Bellator, a lot of 185ers. But PFL hasn't expressed that they're going to start with 85 division. So I'm looking to fight in the pay-per-view fights. So we'll see. I'm just happy to be here.
Ray, what's going on? You're fighting an extremely talented veteran of the sport in Derek Brunson. Do you think that could work to his disadvantage, knowing that you've adapted to newer styles and he, as a veteran, might still be using traditional, like, older methods to train or older systems?
I really don't care what he's going to do.
How do you think it goes in a matchup versus style versus experience?
I have no idea about that. I can go in there and get into a fight. I can go in there and punch him in his mouth, and that's pretty much what's going to happen. Plenty of people should strategize a fight when it comes down to it. It's a fight. It's a fist fight. I'm going to get in there and punch him in his face. That's what it's going to happen.
Knowing the level of this fight, obviously you can't discount this is going to have a big effect on your career. Where do you see yourself going from here after the fight?
Hopefully up. I'm not too sure. I fought plenty of guys that has a lot of better accolades than him, and my career went stagnant. So we'll see. I'm not too sure. I'm just looking to get in there and fight again. I've been off for a year. Very irritating. And yeah, I'm just happy to be here.
Thank you.
Hey, Ray. So being from Pearl City, becoming a 3-time state champ, 2-time Oahu interscholastic champ, how have you seen the combat sports scene develop in Hawaii?
As of now, I think the wrestling got a little bit bigger. Now the kids nowadays they wanted to be football players, and now it's MMA. Now it's fighting. So I think it grew a lot from when I was wrestling. The wrestling scene with the kids wise. So it's big. It's big right now. We don't have too much local MMA fights. It's real kind of washed out right now. But the wrestling scene in Hawaii is very big right now.
And lastly, for me, there's a lot of recent events going on, especially in Maui, right? I was hoping that you can maybe comment on it and provide a message to the people.
Yeah, it's real unfortunate that happened in Lahaina. That's all the fault of our government that was not ready and not prepared to evacuate the people of Lahaina, and for that we lost one historic town. And my heart goes out to all the people out there. I have friends, I have family out there, and right now we just got to come together and help out everybody that's there, because our government is not helping out. Thank you.
Ray, who do you think is going to win the title fight between Sadi Busi and Magomed?
It's a great fight. I can't say. Sai has gotten really good with the wrestling, so, and his striking is where he wants it to be. So I can't really say, but I don't know. I don't have an answer for that.
Got you. And how much happier are you knowing that you don't have to cut down to 170 tomorrow?
I'm real happy. but yeah, it's just I I'm just sick of cutting weight, and that's it. I don't want to keep running my body down for forever. I only have, and I don't know how long I'm gonna be able to fight, but I like fight for a long time, and I want to keep killing my body. So, and I love to eat.
Ray, to kind of bounce off of the earlier question about the fires in Hawaii, what can you tell us for those that are kind of seeing everything from the outside in terms of how the community is rebuilding and what they should know about, everything that happened?
I mean, it's just our government comes down to our governor and our mayors. They don't do anything for the people of Hawaii. They only want to build smart cities. They only want to take money from the tourism or whatever the case is and take the land of the people. But at the end of the day, we just, as the Hawaiian people, they just gotta put differences aside and come together. And really, it's pretty much the people's fault for voting these guys into office. Everybody got to come together and just be together and take over the state and put people that really cares about the land, cares about our people, and yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. Our government is just a piece of shit. Yeah.
Right. You're not a stranger to this area.
Yeah.
PFL, back in the earlier days when you was here, you had a lot of success and you generated a big fan base for some reason, and you feel more comfortable here. What is about this area and fan base that makes you perform at the level that you do?
I just love to fight, man. I just go out there and I put on a show for the people, and that's what everybody comes to see every single time. So all these events that they had, it wasn't. I really didn't watch any of these events. It was boring, and yeah. So people come to watch fights. I go out there and put on fights, make it entertaining, and somebody's getting knocked out that night. So yeah.
Ray, how do you find yourself giving back to the community? There's a real scrap culture. You got people like BJ and Max who are coming there. Do you kind of see yourself helping out the community the same way those guys have?
Yeah. Hopefully, I would like to say that I'm a public figure to the young kids. That's what I want to be for the wrestling community. I wrestled when I was young. That's my background, and that's pretty much what I want to do. Give back to the kids. I was coaching before at my high school for like about 8 years. My brother then was wrestling, and then I went on to coach one minor small league kids league. So I feel like I'm doing my best to give back to the wrestling community.
Great, thank you.
Hey Ray, are these pre-fight moments the first time you've ever met Derek Brunson, or had you met him before?
No, not really. I never did meet him before. Yeah, I never did.
When the PFL offered this fight to you, was it just was it a notable name that decided you, or was it just, hey, let's sign to get another fight going?
Yeah, it was just when they gave me the name, I said okay. It wasn't wishy-washy, and you know what I mean. I always say yes to any fight, anybody to give me. So yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ray.
Thank you, guys.
Chris.
Hello. What's up?
So,
Chris, obviously a fight that everybody's looking forward to, but an emotional one. I know you still have to deal with a press conference, you still have to deal with face-offs, all that. Is it difficult to prepare yourself and to kind of manage the emotions ahead of a fight like this?
No, not really. It's just the juggling act is focusing on making the weight and getting your workouts in, but then also having to, get everything else done, all the obligations. So all you want to do is like cut the weight, lay down, relax, get ready to cut the weight again. But no, I enjoy it.
I was going to ask you, you guys kind of look like you have a little bit of fun when you go back and forth at each other, but is it a little annoying to have to deal with, or do you kind of enjoy having a rivalry in your career?
No, I don't mind it. I like it to a certain extent, especially when you don't like the guy. So I definitely don't mind it. But after a little while, like the way I am personally, when it comes to like what's more important, now it's fight week. Now it's time to make weight. Like I don't have that extra energy to still be fucking around with that. Like we'll deal with that after when we start rehydrating. But like, dude's got too much fucking energy.
I was gonna ask you, is there a part of you that hopes that this is a career, like a rivalry that lingers throughout your career? Do you hope like this is it? We've had enough. Let's move on.
My career is winding down, man. So linger throughout the career is a weird thing to think about. It's not like I'm gonna be around for another decade of me and him going at it. I just don't fucking like him. He doesn't like me. And I don't think I ever will. I don't think he ever will. And I'm okay with that. I learned in life, like not everybody's going to be your people. Not everybody's going to like you. You're not going to like everybody. That's just the way it goes in life. But you don't have to be a pushover to those people. You don't have to listen to their bullshit. And, that's also who I am. And he doesn't like that.
That's last thing for me. You touched on it. I said, hey, the career's kind of winding down a little bit, but a lot of big news this week for the future of this organization. Have you thought about how that impacts you at all and what you see for next year, jumping back into the season, or maybe exploring some of these other career paths that might be open with this new partnership?
Yeah, I actually have. I feel like it's almost like a fate thing in a sense. I was just in the other room and I didn't know how I was going to go about letting everybody do this or know this and whatever. And he was even saying some shit in the interviews the other day. And I'm like, bro, you have no fucking idea what's even on my mind. But this is the last time that any of you are going to see me fight at 45. I've spoken to my family all year, spoken to my loved ones, friends, my daughter, everything. And nobody wants me to make this weight anymore. So, the only person that could even bring me out to do it again is this fucking guy. And it's because I want to put my hands on him. And if I don't, you want to all know the truth? I tried to fight him at 55 because this fight doesn't mean anything. Because we're both big. We both cut weight. I want to be healthy and I want to fight the guy. He forcefully pulling me all the way, not just to 46, but to 45 to have this fight. And he says, I'm fucking Karen. You want to really fight? We're all cutting weight anyway. We could have fought at 55. We could have done that. But here I am one more time because he deserves it. He needs to get it.
Do you anticipate a heated face-off with him, or do you feel like maybe you guys are going to shock us all and just be kind of normal in there? You going to save it for the fight, or are you going to have some words?
I couldn't even tell you. I'm not, I don't plan face-offs or anything like that. Like most of the times I walk up there, I'm just doing my thing, handling business. But I will play to what that person is doing or giving because I don't deal with disrespect. And he's always habitually line stepping when it comes to disrespect. So if he wants to be normal, we're going to be fine. If he wants to be a piece of shit, there could be a fight up there because I'm not fucking around with that guy.
Chris, based on what Bubba was saying earlier and everything leading up to this fight, it seems to some extent that this is almost more personal for him as the attacks have come more personal, more specific, and more consistent. when you step into the cage on Friday, is there going to be any personal animosity going into that fight, or is it just business as usual? Is it just another guy there?
No, it's all fucking personal. And it's all, he's literally a nutcase because it's all on his end. Like, the whole thing started, all I did was talk about how much respect I had for him coming from the same community as me, being a national champion wrestler, how much I value that. And, but believing in myself, saying, but it's not a wrestling match. It's an MMA fight. And I'm a veteran. This was the first fight, the semis. Saying, you know, I believe in myself. So offended by that. How dare I have faith in myself? How dare I, right? God forbid. And the back and forth shit at the press conference started then. I want to punch Chris Wade right in his mouth, and his antics start, and it goes from there. If he was like, yeah, I respect what he had to say, he wrestled too, respect, be like me and Braga are, friendly, but you know, we had to fight. But he can't handle that. He can't handle it. So here we are. This has just snowballed and snowballed. And he says stuff constantly in interviews that are personal, they're offensive. And like, my people don't like it. My family doesn't like it. My friends don't like it. And they take it to heart. And they like to see him fail. And they saw him fail in person in the semis. And that's why he's so wound up and wants to fight me. It's because my family was there after he got TKO'd. They let him know, you know, you ran your mouth and look at you now. And he's butthurt about it. It's in his head. It plays over and over. And he needs to try to like vindicate, you know, somehow. And that's why we're here. We're here because he's looking for this like new start to next season and try to wash off the bad, like all the bad. And they're allowing him to do that. It's not because they came to me like, hey, Chris, we want to give you this. This is coming from that end. So come get it.
Chris, I think we have a pretty good idea of what this means for you personally, but what does it look like when you win professionally? What's going to be next? Like, what do you kind of see for yourself in the future?
Man, I don't know. I'm at a point where it's like it's a little emotional because it's been such a good like long run, you know, and now it was like I was about to basically tell you guys like, you know, this is definitely it. And now this like Bellator signing like 2 days ago, now I don't know. Like, I don't know. Does that mean there is an opportunity for me to fight at a weight that's healthy for me again? If that's the case, then I would love to do that. I still love to compete. But if that's not something that they want to allow or they want me to be a part of, then maybe I do something else. I don't know. In some capacity in and around the organization, I would still love to do that. But love being a part of fighting. I love being around this. I love being around you guys, and I always want to be a part of it. And what that part is leading up, going into next year, I don't know. But I just know that right now, I got nothing to lose. I got a man to beat up. And that's it. That's why we're here this week.
Thank you.
Chris, just going off kind of the disrespect that you mentioned there, he just called you when he was in here his easiest opponent he's had in his career. And I just want to ask you.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Where you would rank him amongst your toughest opponents, because that was the original question asked.
He's a psychopath, man. He really is. Obviously, he's not my easiest opponent, right? I am not mentally ill. He's a great wrestler. He's one of the best grapplers I've ever fought. He doesn't come off when he speaks like he's intelligent, but his IQ in grappling is like sky high, man. He's got like Elon Musk grappling IQ. I know adjustments that I watched him make from the first fight to the second fight, and like not that many people can make those adjustments, and he made like each and every one of them. And I guarantee you he did those things himself. I don't think it was like his coaches being like, here's where you went wrong. Like, he went and looked. He knew what he did. And And you have to look out for that, man, because if he gets into dominant positions, it's almost like a check, like you're trapped. You're just trapped. So you got to keep him off you, because if you don't, it's a long night.
And then just as for Washington D.C. first time fighting here, the capital of the country. Is that a cool thing for you, or try to treat it as a normal fight?
I don't give a shit. This place is loaded with libs, and I don't like it. That's how I feel.
Chris, you've had a great career. One of the people you fought, you actually wrestled against Colby Covington in junior college. Do you think in the moment, did you think he had the potential to become this good? And how do you think he does at UFC 296?
Yeah, man, I lost to Colby in the national finals, the JUCO national finals, and I didn't really know who he was at the time. I just knew he was John's roommate, because I knew John from we graduated the same year. We won states the same year in high school wrestling. So me and John knew one another. That was at 165. I'm fighting 145 today. Like, what has happened? What's going on right now? But no, man, this was so right before all the fighting stuff cracked off. So you didn't know who was a fighter, who wasn't a fighter. But I could tell you that dude was strong. Like, all the points were getting scored on me. I would get in on him. I would go to score, and he would just counter at the last second and do something and squeeze me. And I remember saying to myself, like, I'm in the wrong weight class right now. I'm getting squeezed here. He just was putting it on me. And now he's fighting at 170. It kind of makes sense, right? But yeah, I knew he was something. Not too many people can just like have their way with me in grappling situations, and he was one of them that like made me kind of feel like I don't belong in that weight, and that was eye-opening for me. I knew he was a problem.
Thank you, Chris.
Well,
Chris, I know you said between the first and second fight how Bubba had like fine-tuned his wrestling so much.
Mhm.
Was that second fight that loss? Was part of that the wrestling and part of that the weight cut, or like what do you looking back on it?
No, I mean, I'm not blaming the weight cut. I mean, I fought great the last two fights at 45. I think I could be in the finals right now. I could be. Obviously, a split decision, right? You could be. It's not. It wasn't that. It's just like flat. Didn't want to be there. Didn't want to climb the mountain again, so to speak. Like the season, like you have to navigate through. It's like landmines, like Bubba and Brendan and Movlead and this, and like you have to make it through, like up through each one. And I had already done it like 4 times. It starts to get discouraging. Like, God, how many times are you gonna make me do this before I actually get that belt? I actually get the reward. And I was feeling sorry for myself coming off the Brendan fight, like just depressed, like. Can't believe I was the 1 seed, didn't win. Don't want to climb this mountain again. And then like that fight woke me up, actually, because I was just like checked out.
What would a best 2 out of 3 win over Bubba mean to you at this point?
It's why I'm standing here, man. I told you I don't want to do that. I don't want to be at this weight. I asked for 55. They basically told me off. I didn't want to fight at this weight. I wanted to go back to lightweight. And I figured he's a pretty big guy too. I figured like it would be a break for both of us. We both cut weight. I wasn't trying to like screw him over by it. I thought maybe it would be a break before the holiday for both of us. We could both compete, both make money for our families, and not kill ourselves doing it. And it was like crickets. So I don't know, man. But here we are. 1 day to go. Thank you.
I asked Bubba when he was in here if he would have preferred to fight you or for the title if he had that opportunity right now.
Mhm.
Say someone misses weight, he's the backup.
Mhm.
He said he would fight for the title, but it seemed like he was not quite sure. And I'm wondering what your answer to that question would be.
Title. Yeah. I mean, this rivalry is not that important. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's not like that. Not at all. Like, if I had the opportunity to fight for the million and the belt and everything, like, that was way more important than I need to settle this feud, you know. No.
Thank you.
Cool. Thank you, sir.
Oh, you said, oh, I thought you had one more. You were saying one more. Gotcha. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Craig.
Thank you.
Can I just ask you a question?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Okay.
How you guys doing?
We're doing.
Obviously, a couple days out from a big debut here. I guess what's the excitement, the energy like for you at this point?
Just really enjoying the moment. You know, back when I fought for Bellator, I was like, first year as a pro, first pro fight in the States. I didn't really enjoy the moment. I was just I don't even remember my weight cut. I'll be honest. I don't remember the weigh-ins at all. I only have a couple of photos to reference, and I kind of regret it. You know, like not taking in the moment as much, but it was a good lesson. And here I am, like just kind of enjoying the moment, not too carried away and not thinking about the fight too much, because the fight's going to happen no matter what. So there's no point in putting yourself through it twice.
Yeah, great way to put it. And what were your timing, right? As PFL and Bellator come together, I mean, how was that set in on you? It seems kind of a wild time for you.
Yeah, I did a post yesterday about me at the weigh-ins 2018, and then now it's like fight week. They announced it. I'm sure they had it all planned, but still, the fact that, you know, my timeline, you know, my path, the fact that it kind of went this way, it's kind of cool. I don't know if you guys watch. I'm a huge comic book fan. Loki season 2, you know, like the timelines. I'm like, man, mine went this way. It's kind of cool. Who would have thought in my timeline it would be PFL buying Bellator years later, you know? And then for me, it was always like, you know, the big three organizations that you want to fight for. And then now it's like 2 and 1. So it's like, oh, there you go.
That's
Full
awesome.
Circle.
Talk about the matchup that you have here. How much have you educated yourself on your opponent? What do you think about what he presents to you?
He's bigger, he's faster, he's stronger, more experienced, more fights. That's a tough fight right there. But if I win, then what is anyone going to say, right? And also on top of that, why would I want to fight anyone that's not as good? You know, like you want to push yourself. And I think it's a tough fight. But at the same time, I was doing another interview and I was saying, like, I love Batman, you know. He may have like the toughest villains, but at the same time, he's always got that kryptonite in his pocket.
That's awesome. Last thing for me, I'm kind of curious about what you hope to accomplish out of this fight, right? Like, I mean, you're on this massive card, right? Because of things outside of the cage, right? I mean, it's important to you to prove something inside the cage.
No, I mean, there's nothing really to prove in terms of like I'm coming in here and like fight game plan. You know, like I'm not going to fight the guy where he's great at. You know, that makes no sense. I think my goal is get the win. I got this platform in front of me, PFL Asia. Let's make it happen. You know what I mean? I want to open up the doors there. I think you guys would all love going there. I fought over there in Taiwan multiple times. It's safe, it's clean, it's fun, it's got delicious food. I don't know if you guys like eating, but man, it'd be cool to see you guys all there, and maybe I'll be there to help. I mean, I'm even willing to help connect PFL like to the government over there, because I have some connections. I did some seminars back over there. I'm not trying to get paid at all. I'll do it for free just because I want to see some of my boys over there shine. You know.
That's cool.
Khai, you mentioned that you have fought in Thailand before. Your resume has a bunch of different promotions where obviously you've experienced different styles, different environments. How does this match up to everything, all of your past fights?
Taiwan, by the way. I would have loved to have fought for Thailand. I actually had an opportunity, but then PFL kind of knocked on the door. I'm like, yeah, I think I want to lean more towards PFL. But you're saying how is
how does this stage compare to all your previous fights?
Well, I would say everyone here speaking English. That's the biggest difference. But no, I would say it's not a joke. Actually, it's like the food isn't the same. There's like boba across the street over there. It's like all over the place. I don't know. I'm thinking more of food because I'm cutting weight. You know, but the stage I'd say is pretty good. Like, you know, you can't complain. This is PFL, man. You know, say what you want about PFL and they're doing this and that, but hey, Don Davis said it best. You know, he's trying to compete with the big guys. And right now I'm signed to PFL. So my job is to help speed up the process. He says in 5 years, you know, he wants to compete with the UFC. I'm going to try to make it sooner, you know, and especially with that Asia market that I think is kind of untapped. I really want to show the potential there. You know, all they have is money over there and opportunities, and it's an untapped market. So anyone that kind of gets their foot in the door there, you know, I think it's a good start.
Hey, Khai, talking about this location, man, Washington, D.C., while you're here during fight week, any sites that you want to tap into?
Probably the White House, right? Like, I think that's the main one. The theater that Abraham kind of got assassinated, that was like, you know, we learned about the Ford Theater in third grade or something. Like, we're learning about assassinations in third grade. But, you know, yeah, I think that's kind of cool to go check that out. Other than that, I don't know. I love the history. I love seeing some of the stuff, but at the same time, there's a lot of obligations kind of going around. So I'm just kind of running and finding some time to do that. And also feeding my training partners here because they're not fighting and I'm dragging them along on Thanksgiving week. So
yeah,
door dashing food for them all the time.
Now, you talk about being a big comic book guy. I was curious, what superheroes do you feel you resonate the most with or would describe yourself as?
I got to say Batman, you know, like Bruce Wayne, he doesn't look like Batman, obviously, right? And he looks like this guy that's undisciplined. I have no cauliflower ear. If I walked in the street, people would not think I'm a fighter. I don't think a lot of you may have even recognized me walking around here. Maybe not, because I just don't have that physique, that build. But then come fight night, I think that's when, you know, I get dressed up, get in fight shape, fight zone, you know, and yeah, that's kind of how I feel. That's why I say Batman. And not because he's like super cool or anything, or like he's rich and I'm rich, because no, I mean the pay here is a lot better now, so you know. But I think it's more along the lines of how he has a game plan for everyone. You know, like he fought Bane, who's like super steroided up, but he still has a game plan to kind of beat him with certain things. You know, I'm gonna nerd out if you guys keep asking me stuff like that.
Yeah. Lastly, for me, Mark Zuckerberg, check in. How's he doing?
He's doing great. He posted that video of him playing the video games, and he's like, "You were wondering how I got here." You know, it sucks, but I mean, I think with the way his work ethic is, he'll be back in no time, and he loves it. You know, I'm sure after like 3 months of ACL injury, you could start walking around. I'll probably start holding pads for him again or something, just basic stuff. But whatever he wants to do, I'm backing him up next. Obviously, when someone gets injured, you don't go to them right away like, "Hey, you want to compete?" Deal with this, that. You just kind of like let them recover. Recovery is the most important. You don't want to rush back into anything too, you know.
Absolutely. Best luck, champ.
Thanks.
Is there any significance to the ring you got on, or is this just
No, it's my father's. He gave it to me, and he got a new one, so he just gave me this one, and it's kind of like it's been in the family for like, you know, years. So I don't know. He was like, you earned it, you know.
good luck charm, maybe?
Yeah, I'd say so. I've been wearing it for a couple of years now. Maybe when I was like 23, I was wearing it. He was like, "Man, you don't look like a grown up yet," you know. And then maybe when my face was on some posters in Taiwan, and they started telling him how good his son was doing, then he was like, "All right, I guess you can wear it."
There you go.
Typical Asian dad, you know, wanted me to be a doctor or lawyer. Yeah, exactly.
And you know, as for the fight stuff, obviously you just want to win no matter how you can get it, man. But like, when you envision it, do you have an ideal way? If you prefer like submission, knockout, or anything specific that way?
No, I don't want to chase the finish, because if you look at his record, he's got about, out of his 9 wins, 2 finishes, but the rest are decisions, which means he could go the full distance. And I don't want to expect to finish and it doesn't happen, and then I you know, get caught up in that. So I just want to don't chase, let the finish come to me naturally, and just, win like that. And if the finish does come, I'll capitalize.
Guy, you're fighting at a time in the PFL where the PFL doesn't have a bantamweight division currently.
I found that out a couple days ago.
Right? Yeah. So in terms of, obviously you're focused on this fight, right?
Yeah.
But looking long term, has there been anything told to you in terms of a long-term plan for the bantamweight division or a season format or anything like that?
Honestly, I'm not even kidding. I look at, like, I think your guys' Twitter page or X to find out like news. Like I asked them, and then I think Tammy here, she's the one that kind of helps me out with this stuff. She didn't tell me anything, so she's like, "Yeah, I'll let you know," and it's just that's it. But I'm hoping we speed things up. The fact that I'm the first 35 kind of fight, right? I mean, I didn't know that. I assumed that they had like other showcase bouts that was at 35, but apparently not. So that's kind of cool. It's like pretty historical. And with the Bellator acquisition now, I'm sure they might do something soon.
And what are your thoughts on potentially competing in a season format, right? Because it's so different from other organizations in MMA. What are your thoughts on kind of that format specifically?
Well, if you look at my first year as a pro, I pretty much did 6 fights in 1 year. It was pretty crazy. And I ended up like fracturing my shin and injuring my body. And I'm like, that makes sense, why that happened. But realistically, I do like competing pretty frequent. I'm not getting any younger, I may look young, but I'm 28 now, so I got my prime years are starting now. So I would love to compete as much as I can. I don't plan on competing into my late 30s either, So I do like that format. Keeps me active.
Khai, you've trained with Mark Zuckerberg, obviously. Would you ever have him in your corner for a fight?
Yeah, sure. Why not? I mean, if he's not too busy running his company, like if he ain't got anything else to do, sure, come over.
I'd like that. And one more question for me. You've trained jiu-jitsu with him. What do you think is his best submission?
Oh, I don't want to give that away because he might be competing again, and I don't want everyone knowing it's coming, but it's good.
You're loyal. I like that.
Hey, Khai, did you train at Guerrilla Jiu-Jitsu for the majority of this camp?
Yeah, I split my time. My brother-in-law is Dave Camarillo. I've known him since I was 2. He's super famous now and doing like John Wick and all those films. He used to be just a little background. He used to do like the head coach at AK, the grappling department, and then he went off and did his own thing. So people think I learned a bunch of secrets from him, but honestly, he's in Hollywood half the time, so I don't even get to chat with him and pick his brain as much as I'd like to. And he doesn't like the fight game like that anymore. He likes Keanu Reeves. He likes having breakfast with him. I don't blame him. So that's kind of where I train at now. It's with James Terry. It's in Pleasanton. There's a bunch of affiliate locations now in the Bay Area. We have one in Australia, maybe Germany. I don't know. It's crazy. I haven't even visited half the locations, but Guerrilla Jiu-Jitsu is doing pretty well.
Yeah, going off that, I didn't know that Dave, you were related to him. What kind of effect on your life has he sort of given you over the years?
Yeah, well, he was the one that got me into jiu-jitsu. I had that story of getting bullied when I was younger, and then he basically was like, "Hey, you should get into jiu-jitsu. Try it out for a little bit." And then he never let me join kids class, so I was kind of rough, just getting destroyed by adults every day since I was like 9. And then finally, when I turned 14, one day, like it wasn't puberty, it was just like I finally got the skill set, and I was like actually able to submit some of the adults, and I was like, "Wow, this is awesome. I'm gonna keep at it." And then that's kind of how I got into slowly but surely competing. And after I started competing, I was like, maybe I could do this. Maybe I could knock someone out. Maybe I can make money off it. And then it led me to here.
Next question. I got one for you.
Yeah.
Do you have anything that you want to pull out of the back trunk of your skills move? Anything special that you love to do in practice? Maybe you might see something.
No, but now that you mention it, I might go back to the drawing board and create a back pocket that I didn't know I had, and maybe pull something out of there. I mean, honestly, the fight itself, I've ran fights through my head several times, and it almost never goes that way. So you almost want to be adaptable, just like the nickname that I have, the Shadow. I can blend into anything, and that's how I plan on going into this fight with that mindset.
Excellent. All right, thanks, man. Bless you.
Cool. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Little scary.
How you doing, sir?
How's it going, Derek?
Good. How are you?
Good.
All right.
Very good, fresh start, right? I mean, a new phase, kind of building to this moment. Now it's just a couple days out. I guess what's the feeling like? The new gear on, the new spot. What's it like for you?
Feeling good. It's all about that weight cut. We got the little few pounds left, but I'm happy to be in PFL. New opportunity, new goals. I'm here.
It's interesting, right? Because you come to this new area, you're trying to learn the landscape, then the landscape changes, while you're trying to get ready for it. So what were your thoughts on all the news this week? It seems like this is, could be a whole lot of different opportunities for you.
Yeah, for sure. With Bellator and PFL joining or, forming the same company, it's a great thing. A lot of talented fighters on that side. So it makes it, a mega organization now.
That starts this week with Ray. I guess, what do you think about what he brings to the table and, what kind of challenges he offers you?
Yeah, I think Ray's a solid fighter who like to, keep his chin down, throw heavy punches. And I'm a guy, I've seen that over and over again. So it's my job to go out there and do my thing.
That's the last thing for me. Again, with all this news and all these, things that are happening, what are your goals in this phase of your career, this new chapter?
The goals is to go out here and just win, win fights. I know what I'm working towards. You got the $1 million tournament. And then also you have big fights that you can make outside of that.
Derek Brunson as a human being is even better than Derek Brunson as a fighter, right? You're someone who's kept it classy through a long MMA career. I'm wondering, where do these good morals come from? Is there some event in your life or how you grew up?
Yeah, I like to think my mom raised me well. So yeah, that's always a good thing,
And then on a lighter note, you post a lot of good memes on your social media. Do you come up with them yourself, or are you getting them from elsewhere?
Yeah, it's all authentic. If I got it from elsewhere, it'd be a flood of memes. So it's just, when I'm having a good time, when I'm, in the moment, I just post it or make a meme, and then that's that.
I love it. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Derek, what's going on?
All right.
Over the course of your career, from when you started to now, who would you say had the biggest influence on your development as a fighter?
Oh, that's a tough question. From the start until now, big development on my career. I don't know maybe Greg Jackson. It's funny. I was thinking through the years, I've did about 8 camps there, and my record is 8-0 there. But yet still I'm not there, So it was just so far from me. I have kids, and they're all on the East Coast, and they go all the way to the West Coast. I feel like I'm just like absent. So, but I've never lost a fight doing a full camp at Jackson Wings. And training with Greg, he has a crazy knowledge for this sport,
How do you feel the sport has evolved in terms of the way coaches are training fighters in fundamentals, in advanced techniques, and getting them to be more well-rounded than they are?
Yeah, for sure. You got kids coming in at an early age. They're doing mixed martial arts. They're not doing just karate or wrestling or one particular martial arts. They're doing everything. So it's definitely advancing the sport, and you're going to see more complete fighters from that.
How do you think that plays into veteran fighters like yourself taking on new talent when your experience comes in versus their stylistic differences?
Yeah, beat up the guys you've been fighting and get out of there. These young guys are good. So now, but everybody's training the same stuff. We all going to the same classes, working on stuff. They're just training at an earlier age.
Thank you.
Hey, Derek. Competitive cheerleader at John T. Hoggard High. How has that background played into your mixed martial arts style?
It worked out really well when I was younger because I was really athletic and doing crazy flips, but now I stay on the ground. So, but yeah, it was good times in my life.
And, Strikeforce, UFC, now PFL, of course. What specifically was the attraction for the Professional Fighters League?
They have the $1 million playoff tournament. They have seasons. You get a little off season, so you kind of know where you're at. You win and you advance, so you know where you're at with that also. So it was just like a new opportunity, a new goal, and I felt it was the time to take that next step.
And maybe some thoughts on that Bellator acquisition and the merge of both companies.
Yeah, Bellator and PFL together, both have a lot of talented fighters, so just put them together is just a great thing.
That's why.
Derek, what's been the biggest upside since coming over to the PFL?
The biggest upside is just knowing what I'm working towards, it's a peace of mind, knowing, okay, win a lot of money.
Thank you.
Yeah, right here. You mentioned kids training. You have a gym in Wilmington. Did you mostly train there for this camp? At
Yes.
your own gym?
So I trained mostly. I did about 2 weeks at Killcliff. Then I did about 3 weeks in Atlanta and probably like 1 week at home. So it was about a 6-week camp. I split it up and did it in a couple different places.
Did you, when you were training at home, did you bring anyone in particular to help you with this?
No, I wasn't training at home long enough, so I just kind of trained with my guys. Like I had my wrestling coach, Austin Trotman. He's a former world team wrestler, so we've been working back at home, and then I have my boxing coach that I've been working with forever. So yeah, just putting together my pieces at home and then getting most of my work on the road.
You mentioned training at Killcliff. Did you get to train with Impa? He's fighting in the finals.
Yeah, me and Input trained for a couple of years now. Yeah, he's a super tough guy. I think he gets it done this weekend.
Question: do you have any like thing you're looking for as far as the way you're looking for a specific finish, or you want to take the fight either to the ground first or up against cage?
Just go out there and see where the fight take place. You know, it's all going to be predicated of how Ray Cooper come out. Then I'm going to do my thing after. You know, so.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you, sir.
Thank you guys. All right.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.